This is the push plate. I've changed it slightly, so it's another iteration to allow for 5mm bolts, because it's only 5mm hex head part thread ones you can obtain. Well, you can't obtain anything less than that in diameter, so far as I can find out. The LED RGB is working well there, flashing to warn me that the heat bed is on and that it is hot. So let's take a look at the display. You see I've got it set to 210 now on the nozzle. I did this by using a tune option in this LCD 12864. Going to tune, you can change the default settings on some of this options. See, the heat bed there is set to 70. 1 hour 6 minutes into this print. There is no fan really on this print, only the one on the E3D version 6 clone hot end. PLA on the blue painter's tape. And there you can see the RGB LED flashing the red warning that it is over 50 degrees on this heat bed. It goes through various different colour ranges: green, yellow, solid red and flashing red. So the nozzle is basically set to 220 on this PLA print. To me it seems to be going quite fast. This is actually speed when the nozzle seems to be moving quite quick here. And the auto tramming is working. See that is moving the Z sort of up and down as it prints to allow for any sort of the bed not being totally level. When I did the sketch, I don't know if you can see it on this left hand side, you see very thin indeed on the left hand side. I notice it a bit more now. I think it's a 35% infill I'm doing here, if I remember correctly. See, the head seems to be moving quite quickly. Let's go back to the display bit. So about a quarter of the way along on this sort of bar graph type thing on the bottom, which gives us a bit of an indication. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off and then I'll come back in a about an hour, I think. Oh, it's just a short time after that previous video snippet. This is the push plate. Oops, sorry. Or what I am calling the push plate of the quick release mechanism. Right. If I turn this light on it a little bit, might give us a bit of light. If you look at that skirt on the right hand side and look at the skirt over here on the left hand side, when the BT touch moves out the way, you see the difference. See how that thin that is there, or compared even round the front here and the right hand side. So is it implying that the bed is a little bit higher there? This does have auto leveling on, which is working, as we can see here, by the Z carriage being moved up and down as the bed moves about, as the print takes place. See where we are on here. 1 hour 40 minutes. 220 on the nozzle, 70 on the heat bed. Notice a gap appears in here, that's when it's heating up, I think, and a dot appears on the nozzle when that's heating up. So let's watch that a bit. See, there was a gap, another gap appearing, and a dot on the nozzle. One hour 40 minutes. Gap again. Yes, it says suggests there's a fan here, but there isn't really. Well, the logo's for a fan, but the only fan there is the one on the hot end to keep the cool area of the hot end cold, because we only want the heat basically in the tip of the hot end. Seems to be printing okay at 100 and look, sorry, 100 and 210. 210 on the nozzle. Where did I get 100 and from? Okay, let's turn the camera off and I'll come back in about an hour, I think. And let's have a look at the time. So you see that it is 2 hours 12 minutes into this print. 210 on the nozzle, 70 on the bed, printing in PLA onto blue painter's tape that was cleaned off of isopropyl alcohol E3D version 6 hot end clone. That's a BL Touch there, used to like do the auto leveling since the foaming etc. Really good, gets a thumbs up. Work on all, well, any surface really, you touch it down and senses the height. Black PLA. I think it's a 35% infill there. Oops, sorry if this is jerking a bit. So this is the push plate, and the skateboard bearing sort of goes in that main groove at the centre there and presses onto the filament of this quick release belt drive system I've been working on. This is for a 5mm hex headed part threaded board. You can't get 4mm part threaded with a hex head, you can't get them. And the round headed ones, the sort of Allen bolts, just rotate as I'm turning the nail nut. So those aren't really very good for this sort of job. Sorry about that. This camera certainly seems to go out of focus when I zoom in, depending what's happening. And there you'll just catch the RGB LED there flashing away to warn me that the heat bed is over 50 degrees. So that changes colour and patterns to a certain extent to let me know how hot the heat bed is at a quick glance. It's going to be quite difficult to miss this flashing, I think, and accidentally touch the bed if it's hot. Seems to be working fine, no problems with that. I'm not sure how much the heat bed will actually impact on that LED, whether it will cause it to fail a lot quicker or not. Pause the camera again and come back in a while. I'm not going to say how long actually, because I said an hour before and I've come back a lot sooner, so it just depends how I feel, I think. Well, it's finished. I don't think it can be finished for a lot long, I just left it, but I can see that it's still flashing red, so obviously the heat bed is still quite hot. Let's have a look at the display. So it's saying 3 hours 8 minutes. The heat bed is at 45. Remembering that there is some thermal mass in this heat bed. So although I don't know, this should only flash at 50 basically. Where am I? Sorry, going out of focus. That should flash at 50 or above. But it's saying 45 here. And I haven't got my other temperature testing gear handy. So why is this saying 45? It's like the thermometer under here is saying it's 50. The thermometer under here is, I think, right on the plate. The thermometer I'm using is trapped probably in a little pocket of air which might hold that temperature, and it's also, well, it's hard to get the plate here that's just below it, that's like another aluminium sheet, is a bit warmish but not all that hot. That's a bit puzzling, but we'll gradually, it's better off being that direction, saying it's hot, indicating it's hotter than it is, than being the other way about. So that's my LED warning unit. I'm going to change the code to this because I just had a brainwave, because this is red, green and blue LED there. We can have any of those colours or mixing them to a certain extent, as yellow does. It mixes red and green with, I think it's a lot of red, yeah, full on red, and a very small amount of green to make yellow. But we can use blue to indicate an error of the thermostat. That would be like an easy and one to do in the code, I think, and be handy to indicate that the thermostat had gone open or something. So that's an extra thermostat under this heat bed to signal Arduino Nano I'm using to send feedback to this RGB LED here. Okay, I'm going to just leave this on here. There's no lifting on this so far as I can see. Just have a look. I can't really see any. I'll report back. I'm going to let this go to green before I even try to take this off the bed. I think that's going to be quite some time. So I'll come back then. It seems to have been a while. I haven't been timing it. But if we run yellow, which is like warmish, let's have a look at the actual temperature. It's saying 30 there. So even at 35, it should drop down to green. But saying it's on 30, and there's no heat on that. I'd rather have it this way than the other way. There's any heat on this plastic part. Can't really feel any. Obviously, as I say, there might be heat trapped almost to a certain extent under here. This plate now, it feels all just like it's ambient temperature from what I can feel. So why is it still on yellow? That is yellow there, which is sort of a mixture of green and red. To be honest, I don't understand that. It's better to say it's warmer than it is like colder in a way. Let's see if we can get this part off now. Oh, I think I forgot to say how long it took, but well, we can see that there. 3 hours 8 minutes to paint this part. Temperature there is 30 degrees on that heat bed, which is, it's 30 on the nozzle, which cools down quite a lot quicker, but still on yellow. I don't know why it's still on yellow. Just doing this slowly and steadily. It's pulling up with blue painter's tape. Let me put this light on it here. We'll actually try to keep the blue painter's tape down with this. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got a curve on it. Curving like that way, not curving up, it's curving the opposite way. So I've got support material on here. Apart from that, not too bad, but that's an unusual curve on that. Like better there. I think it's what the term is, concave. I think that will be a usable part. So basically this has been modified to take the 5mm part threaded. It has to be part threaded, hex headed part threaded bolt, 5mm. You can't get 4s. Just about fits in there, maybe. It actually looks slanty to me, as if it's going down a little bit in this direction. Not a lot, just a little bit. Obviously this support material needs taken out. Base support material on here, that's just so we can grip it, sort of thing. Support material on there because that's like a bit of an overhang. So that's where it pivots on. Skateboard bearing in there and pushes against the filament. I'm going to take off the support material and see that will go on there. What happens? It still needs, well, drilling out and such like for the holes. That basically hooks in here. Like that, and that won't turn now because it's a hex head. Well, it's been a while. Still showing yellowish. 29 degrees that says. So why hasn't this changed to green? It's supposed to go to green at 35. To be honest, I don't understand that. I'm actually going to turn it off now and restart it. The mains power that is, so the lights will go off. The second or two. Restart it. And it's coming on yellow. Even though it's saying 29 degrees. Seems like there's something very odd happening with this RGB control circuit I've done. Ah, now it's gone on green. Well, it went on green for a second there. It's gone back to yellow. So it seems like at 29 degrees it's almost borderline. Presumably the thermometer is not taking the temperature off the thermometer on the heat bed, it's actually taking the temperature off its own probe, separate probe thing. So presumably that is wrong, reporting the wrong temperature. You'll have to excuse the lighting a bit. When we're about to plug it in, it's had a chance to really cool down, and it has been warm, like the weather, and now when I plug it in it's on green. This is saying 27, see there that the bed is at 27. We're on green, so I am thinking that the sort of temperature controller has a 0 thing in it. Has two thermometers, and I think it compares its two thermometers one against the other to get a good reading. One built into the unit and one that actually wires into the unit. Cold junction, I think it's known as. But that cold junction is actually in my power supply box. sort of thing, which is here, and the ramps is in here, although this does have fans on. It might be maintaining the heat in there that's causing this not to change colour back to green as it is now, after it's had a chance to really cool down. So that's something I'm going to investigate. I think